Hello, everyone. I'm Arvada Mayor Mark Williams. We have two fresh faces on City Council after the 2015 November election. One of them, an Arvada native, business owner, and family man, joins me here today. Welcome, David Jones.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here.
David, you now represent District 4. It's a special part of town, isn't it?
It's a very special part of town.
Tell the folks what you see in District 4.
Well, you know, Arvada has grown immensely over the years. Even since I was a little boy, the west side of Arvada has grown, and it will continue to grow. That's where the biggest part of the growth segments will happen. And so it's important for citizens to know that as a representative of District 4, I want to do the right things. I want to help that area grow responsibly. I want to make sure that as citizens, as families, whatever it might be, the reasons why you may have come to Arvada, that you have all of that and can enjoy Arvada each and every day.
Now you, as I indicated, you're an Arvada native. What part of town did you grow up in?
Well, so I'm an Arvada native from a shopping perspective. So I was born in Arvada. We actually, when I was brought home from the hospital, I was brought home to a little house right there by Arvada High School, Arvada West High School. And when I was 5, my family moved to Coal Creek Canyon. So it's an extension of Arvada, I think, because that's where we did all of our shopping. When I went to college, my parents then moved back down to Arvada, and they lived just off of 75th and Sims in Harvest Lane. At that point, that was the part of Arvada that was growing and expanding. So in 1998, when I got married, I brought my sweet wife and family here to Arvada, and we've made Arvada our home. So I call myself an Arvada native, even though I lived in Coal Creek Canyon for a few years.
Hey, you were born here. That's what really counts.
That's right.
Now, you also are CEO of an Arvada business, Sancio. What
Yes.
is that business?
So we are an automotive warranty company. We will celebrate our 33rd year next year. My father was a visionary in the automotive world, and he had the thought and idea that we might be able to take care of consumers that were traveling across the country no matter where they were. It all started really with our very first customer in the Northeast who wanted to take care of their customers when they were traveling. And my dad said, give me 30 days, I'll figure out how to do that. So ever since then, we've grown a network of automotive care facilities to over 35,000, 36,000 facilities that participate on our programs. And essentially what that means, Mayor, if you go and have your alternator replaced in a service center and you travel to California from Colorado and you break down, we're going to take care of you. We're going to get you back on the road so that you can come home.
Well, and I think your interest and the value you put into that is part of what you're bringing to City Council.
Absolutely, because it's all about taking care of people. And as a representative for the City of Arvada and District 4, I want people to know that they can come and ask me questions. They can come to me with concerns. And I will do my absolute best to use the resources available to answer those questions and hopefully find resolutions to situations that they have problems with.
David, when you ran for City Council, my perspective, and I think the reality was that you weren't really upset with how anything was going,
No.
but you thought that you could bring some value added to the council.
You know, I have to applaud City Council, those members who have served for the last several years. I think that you've all done a fabulous job at looking at where our city is and where it's going. I didn't have any gripes or grief with anyone on council. In fact, to your point, I thought that I could add a fresh perspective, that given that I've grown up in the area and I live on the west side of town, hopefully my perspective would be one that would be mutually beneficial to the constituents in that area. Because, again, I'm a resident as well.
David, when you ran, you did your homework. Tell the viewers how you did your homework and what you learned.
Well, one thing I knew was that there were a lot of moving parts, but what I didn't realize was how many moving parts there really were. I took the opportunity to meet with each of the department heads, the department directors within the city, and didn't interview them, but just had a conversation with them about what was important for them. And I asked them all a couple of questions. One being, if money were no object, what's the one thing that they would need to be more successful in their job? And I found it interesting that they all said, you know what, I have everything I need. The city has provided for me and given me all the tools and resources that I need to be successful in my job. And I thought that was a great answer, because that proved to me that the city really is moving in the right direction. We're doing the right things, and I was impressed with each of the department heads, because as I looked at them and as I interacted with them, I could only imagine what their staff must be like on a day-to-day basis. The one thing that I don't think I realized was really how involved each department is at so many different levels to really make our city run. So I was grateful for that opportunity to better understand the inner workings of the city. And I think that every citizen should take the opportunity to go down and introduce themselves to our great city manager, Mark Devon.
We do have an incredible staff that works very hard. Now, the city staff may have the resources that they need, but there's needs in the community. What are some of those that you're learning about?
You know, as I look at the changing city, especially to the northwest, there are a lot of things that are going to that we're going to have to put our time, energy, and resources towards, as Candelas and Layden Rock, Layden Ranch. As those areas begin to develop, it's important that we take into consideration public safety. We take into consideration parks. We take into consideration the infrastructure. And when I say infrastructure, it's not just roads. It's the infrastructure of the city employees and the departments, because each and every one of those departments are going to be impacted as the city grows west. So as council, we have to make sure that we're working closely with staff to put together budgets that are sufficient to handle the needs and growth. I think probably as I was running and considering running, in my mind, infrastructure was roads. Well, there's a lot more to the infrastructure than just roads.
Boy, isn't that the truth.
Do we have some issues with our road infrastructure? Absolutely. And it's my hope that we can put together a long-term plan of maintenance and infrastructure for roads specifically, so that the citizens will know exactly what's going on and what that timeline might look like, so that we'll know that, hey, Indiana's going to be fixed here and Quaker's going to be fixed then, and it's just an opportunity for people to understand exactly what's going on.
Right. David, as I've come to know you, I know how important your family is to you. You've got a lovely wife and two incredible sons. Tell us a little bit about them.
Well, I certainly, and I've said this before, I married up.
Didn't we all?
My wife is an amazing person, and without her support, I really couldn't do the things that I love to do. My family is first in everything that I do. My boys, Jake is 15, he's a sophomore at Ralston Valley. Parks is 13 today. Happy birthday, Parks. And he is a 7th grader at Drake Middle School. They are actively involved in so many things, from sports to scouts to you name it, and they're doing it. So as I look at the opportunities to serve on council, it really is about making sure that Arvada is a place where hopefully they'll bring their families as they grow and marry and have their own kids, because we want them to be near us, and I want Arvada to be a thriving place for them and their families, hopefully one day when they return.
Well, David, I think you're going to be a terrific addition to the Arvada City Council. I really look forward to the opportunity to work with you, and I thank you for your willingness to serve our community.
Thank you, and I am honored for the opportunity to do that.
I'm Arvada Mayor Mark Williams. Thanks for watching. You can learn more about all the City Council members at arvada.org.